shouldn't be here.
A simple promise and a forgotten friend led me to two of the most unsettling nights of my life. My world unraveled over a holiday weekend. I was sick, the kind of sick where your body is a lead weight and your throat is raw fire. Just before it hit, I'd agreed to look after my coworker's cat while she was away. Her place wasn't far, but I also had another errand to run, a stubborn one. My old bowling gear and tennis rackets were at my dad's, and I was determined to get them. That stubbornness is why I ended up alone at a deserted bus stop after dark. Public transit was a mess. My phone's bus tracker kept lying to me 1 minute away, then 15, over and over. I was stranded for half an hour. I was young, female, carrying a heavy bag with a bowling ball, shivering from chills. The stop was completely empty. Then a car pulled up, a group of guys inside, talking loudly in a language I didn't know. They seemed to be dropping one of them off. The car left, and he was there with me. I kept my distance, focused on my phone. He didn't stay away. He walked over and sat right beside me on the bench. I tried to ignore it, my eyes glued to my screen. Then I felt it. His arm came around my shoulders, pulling me tight against him. My brain short-circuited. I just froze. He muttered something, asking if I was all right. I whispered that I was fine, just waiting. After what felt like forever, he let go. My mind raced with excuses for him. Maybe he was just concerned. I knew it was foolish, but fear had me rationalizing the irrational. He was huge, easily twice my size, and we were utterly alone. I didn't want to set him off. He did it again. His arm wrapped around me a second time, his hand rubbing my back. I saw my bus finally coming down the street. I stayed perfectly still, thinking my escape was seconds away. As it pulled up, I slipped from his grip and mumbled, "My bus is here." His reply chilled me. He made it clear he was getting on too. I should have screamed. I should have told the driver. But I was mute with panic, my voice a shredded whisper. I got on and stood right by the door. He had to sit down. I texted a friend, my hands trembling. I couldn't go to the apartment with the cat. I had a different plan. My stop was coming up. It was near my work, a restaurant in a large outdoor plaza. I knew it would be closed, but security patrolled it and my coworkers would still be inside cleaning. The employee entrance in the back was my only shot. As the bus doors opened, he was right behind me. His hand clamped onto my shoulder, gripped like a vice, and I had to take small, slow steps beside him. My heart was a drum in my ears. Could I break free and reach the door in time? We neared the back alley. The outer gate to the trash area was, by some miracle, propped open. Even better, the inner door was held open by two of my coworkers chatting inside. It was my moment. His grip loosened just enough as we walked. I wrenched myself free and sprinted past him into the enclosure. I croaked to my friend. That man followed me, closed the door. He slammed it shut. Not 2 seconds later, the handle jiggled wildly and fists pounded on the metal. We called security. Through the window, we watched him pace outside before he disappeared into another shop. A coworker drove me to check the cat, then took me home. Later, management asked if I wanted to press charges. I never got an answer about who he was or what he wanted. Some silences are heavier than any explanation. The second story begins with a name from the past. An old friend, let's call him Alex. We drifted apart after high school when he moved to a remote mountain town with his family. Out of the blue, he texted, inviting me up for a weekend. He said the snow made it perfect. I was nostalgic, so I went. The drive was long and dark, the road nearly empty. His house was an old wooden structure clinging to the mountainside, neighbors nowhere in sight. When he came out to greet me, something was off. His speech was slow, halting. He'd pause as if losing his train of thought. The inside was warm but barely furnished. A couch, a table, some old decor. He said I could take the pull-out couch. Across from it was a long, dark hallway leading to a bathroom and some empty bedrooms. His grandparents' old rooms, he explained. For no good reason, that black rectangle of a hallway filled me with dread. We tried to catch up that first night, but his demeanor was distant, awkward. His eyes kept flicking toward that hall. When I went to sleep, I left a light on. I woke around 2 a.m. to the sound of frantic footsteps running back and forth on the floor above me. Then silence. I told myself it was just an old house settling. The next day, Alex was worse, withdrawn, barely responsive. I saw him go down that hallway at least 5 times. I never heard a flush. That night, a storm hit, cozy, until I woke again at 2 a.m. I heard a soft, dragging scrape from the hallway, then a sharp tap on the wall right behind my head. I didn't move. I couldn't. The third night, my unease had hardened into fear. Alex stared at me with an intensity that felt like being examined. After he went upstairs, I laid on the couch, willing myself to sleep, and as if on a cursed schedule, my eyes snapped open at 2 a.m. My body was stone. Sleep paralysis. I was a prisoner in my own skin, and that's when I saw him. A figure standing perfectly still at the far end of the pitch-black hallway, just a silhouette. It was Alex. He'd been there watching me. For how long? He didn't move for an eternity. Then slowly he turned and walked into the empty guest room, swallowed by the dark. As my body thawed, I stumbled up, my heart hammering. I had to know. I crept down the hall. Peering into that room, I saw a shape in the corner by the window, a person standing with their back to me, looking out at the storm. I backed away and ran upstairs. I burst into Alex's room. He was in bed, seemingly asleep. I shook him awake, babbling about someone downstairs. He looked groggy, then irritated. He refused to even look toward the door. His expression shifted then, not to confusion, but to a grim, knowing resignation. "Alex," I demanded, "who is that in your house?" He just looked at me and shrugged. A friend's silence can be the most terrifying sound of all. I was done. I threw my things in my bag and bolted outside into the freezing night. As I reversed out of the driveway, I glanced up at the house one last time. In the window of that end room, the silhouette was still there, watching me leave. I never heard from Alex again in any meaningful way. Whatever happened in that house, and whoever or whatever he became, I left it in the mountains. These are the stories that linger. If they held your attention, do me a favor and hit the like button. It truly helps the channel Winds of Thought find these stories to share. Stay curious and stay safe.